Hey, what's going on, guys? It's FPL Yusuf here, and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be bringing you guys my Game Week 8 transfer plans. We're going to talk about some key questions surrounding the upcoming game week. I'll show you how we got on in Game Week 7. We'll talk about some players that we should be looking at, some players that we should be looking to get off of, and also I'll show you guys what my current transfer plans are for the upcoming game week after the international break as well. So I do hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, don't forget to drop a thumbs up and subscribe down below. And as always, let's just jump straight into it. Okay, welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for being here with me today on my YouTube channel for another video. So like I said in the intro, this is my Game Week 8 transfer plan video. We'll take a quick little recap of how we got in Game Week 7. We finished on 68 points all out. We had a very, ever so slight small red arrow down to about 1.2 million, I think we are. So not the end of the world. The only decision that was made wrong this week was the Bowen over Caicedo. So if you watched my final team selection, I had Caicedo in my starting lineup. I changed it that Friday evening before the deadline, put Jarrod Bowen in. I just thought that if West Ham are going to just sneak a goal or anything, it will be through him. Caicedo kind of had a 4-point ceiling, and of course he went and scored, got himself the DEFCONs as we predicted. And you know, it turned out that it was actually an 8-point swing, which would have been the difference between a very small red arrow and a decent sized green one. So sometimes those little things can go against you, sometimes they go for you. It's all part and parcel of it. But like I said, overall not too bad of a week. A few underwhelming performances from certain players, maybe more in the sort of attacking side of things. The defense, obviously double Arsenal defense held well. Donnarumma got his clean sheet as well. Haaland scored in the captaincy. Semenyo. Overall, like I said, it was a decent game week altogether. So as you can see on screen, this is what my team is currently lining up before I've done any transfers, before I made anything. Obviously, we are on international break, so we've got 2 weeks before the next deadline. So just as a disclaimer, I would highly recommend saving your transfers if you've got some. Don't go early, even if you are going to be affected by price rises. Unless it's going to price you out of a big move, like getting Haaland in or maybe bringing the Semenyo in, then okay, fair enough, you might have to move early. But other than that, to be honest with you, I just wouldn't. I would just hold and just let the international break go and get through. So what my team's currently looking like for, game week 8 after the international break, I am currently predicting that I'm going to be on a bench boost. So that's a big thinking and a big sort of plan around my transfers coming up as to what I'm doing. So Donnarumma will be in goal, of course, like I said, when I bought him in a wild card, he's just a hold. We will continue on with the double Arsenal defence away to Fulham. Now, Fulham's usually a difficult ground for Arsenal to go to, but I'm hopeful, with the way they've been defending this season, that they can come through. Obviously, they got us the points last week. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they can do it again this week. Currently, we've got Senesi and Romero to finish the back four. We're going to talk about Romero in a little bit in my transfer plans. So the back four, as it is for now, is okay in my eyes. A midfield three are Bruno, Tijani Reinders, and Semenyo. Obviously, if we are going to be activated on bench boost, we'll have everyone stacked, and Caicedo's points will be coming in as well. And of course, the front line, Bowen, Gyökeres, Haaland at this moment in time. But obviously, we've got a lot to talk about, as there could be some things that I'm looking to change just to try and optimize the bench boost for game week 8. Right, so let's take a look at some key questions surrounding Game Week 8. And the first one up is Mo Salah. Now, if you still have Mo Salah, what do you do with him? I think the thing to say about this is that the longer you hold him, the harder it is to get rid of him, because Game Week 12, Liverpool's fixtures swing. And I think there may be a lot of people who are looking to transition to at least a Liverpool asset in attack. Now, whether it's Salah, whether it's Gakpo, whether it's Wirtz, whether it's Isak, is yet to be seen, because obviously Liverpool aren't playing the greatest at the moment. But the question is, what do you do if you've got him now? I think, for me personally, it sounds bad, but it seems counterproductive to get rid of him now, because you're going to want him back in sort of 2, 3, 4 game weeks anyway. If you are going to transition from him, obviously Bukayo Saka, it's looking like he's on penalties now for Arsenal. I wouldn't be surprised if Gyökeres takes the next one, though. So just bear that in mind if you are moving to Saka because you think he's on penalties. Just err on the side of caution. It wouldn't surprise me if Gyökeres does take the next one. But obviously, Saka looks like the easiest swap from Salah to Saka. You save yourself a little bit of money. Obviously, if Cole Palmer comes back after the international break, he is definitely a viable option with Chelsea's run. So I think there are easy options to move out of Salah. Like I said, the longer you hold him and the more game weeks that go by, the harder it becomes to sell him, because obviously Liverpool's fixtures do swing. So you're probably not going to want to sell him then. So I think if you are, if you're wildcarding this week, I personally would just wildcard him out for a couple of weeks. You can maybe reassess later down the line. If the money that you go from Salah to Saka or Salah to Palmer, maybe just hold in the bank until you get to game week 12 and then just, reassess again. I think that will be after another international break as well. So bearing in mind, there'll be another 2-week delay before that. So yeah, you've got a lot of time, not a lot of game weeks, but there's a lot of time for Liverpool to improve before, you get round to that Liverpool fixture swing. Now, is Victor Gyökeres a sell? Now, this is the other thing that I think a lot of people have been talking about, and I've seen a lot of people looking to make the same sort of moves. Gyökeres down to a, João Pedro, a Mateta, a Voltemada, and then obviously you move a Bruno up to a Saka, a Palmer, so on and so on. So is Victor Gyökeres a sell? Now, it's worth me saying that after seeing him not take that penalty, it has dampened my spirits a little bit. Obviously, you're not picking Victor Gyökeres at 9 million for just penalties. He needs to be scoring goals from open play, which he's currently not doing right now. And I just do wonder, is Gyökeres going to be used as kind of a battering ram for Arsenal, where everybody else is thriving because of what Gyökeres is doing? He's pinning centre-backs, he's taking opposition away, he's making runs which are drawing defenders out. So it's a very unselfish role at the moment from Victor Gyökeres. But obviously, without the penalties, it does leave a little bit to be desired. Now, I did see in the narrative that obviously it was Saka's 200th game. He wanted to score in it, which is why he took the penalty. That also could be viable. And, like I said in the previous bit, I could 100% see Gyökeres taking the next penalty. But I think just because of the uncertainty and the fact that someone like João Pedro is about to come into a very, very good run of fixtures, Voltemade is looking very good for Newcastle, I think there are other options which A, will save you money, but B, are probably just looking like a little bit more informed than Victor Gyökeres right now. So I'm going to talk about him when I get to my transfer plans, but that is somebody that I am personally looking to move out as well. And last up, is João Pedro still a hold? Now, if you are a João Pedro owner, you're probably a little bit frustrated at this point. Now, it's worth me saying that obviously Chelsea in their last few games have been down to 10 men for a few of them. So it doesn't surprise me that he hasn't had many shots. Obviously, when Cole Palmer's back as well, that will help with creativity for him. So I think if you've got João Pedro, you're not selling him before Nottingham Forest. And then obviously Chelsea go into game week 9 onwards and just fantastic fixtures. So yes, I think if you've got João Pedro, hold him, don't sell him. I think once Palmer comes back, it will help Chelsea's attack just function a lot better. But also, once they keep 11 men on the pitch for 90 minutes, you might see a lot more, output from him as well. So yeah, if you've got him, hold him. If you haven't got him, I do definitely think he's a consideration to buy. But I think there are also other strikers you could look at alternatively as well. Right, so in this section, I'm just going to talk about some players to talk around, because obviously a lot of people are going to be wildcarding from game week 8. So I just made a list, and now this is not a list of everyone to bring in. We're going to talk a bit about players to bring in, but also some players that maybe we should be avoiding. So we'll start with the goalkeepers first. I think if you are on wildcard, David Raya, Donnarumma, Nick Pope as well, I think you could put into this category. I think those three are you should be picking one of those three essentially. Arsenal are the best defence in the league. I think Donnarumma will come up with the most clean sheets plus saves. And then Nick Pope has obviously got the higher ceiling that if he does keep a clean sheet, he's usually going to get saves and then could be bonus points because Newcastle aren't really scoring a lot of goals at the moment. So all three of them offer their own routes. Obviously, David Raya is the safer pick, but obviously the lower score. It's either going to be a 6 or a 2 for him. Donnarumma is kind of that medium pick, decent-ish on price, a little bit. Well, he is obviously one of the premium goalkeepers, but Man City will keep clean sheets and he will make saves in some games. And then you've got Nick Pope on the other end, who's a little bit cheaper than both of them. But obviously, if Newcastle keep a clean sheet, he's usually saved a couple of shots beforehand. So obviously, ceiling-wise, points are higher for Nick Pope. So those are the goalkeepers. Robert Sanchez I've got on here. Now, I know a lot of people will be considering looking at him, obviously, because Chelsea's fixture run is good. For me personally, he's an active avoid. I don't really rate him as a goalkeeper, but I also think at some stage he could be rotated. And I think that with the 3 goalkeepers I just named prior to this, I think you've got other options you can go to and you don't need to rely on Robert Sanchez. If you're looking to get into the Chelsea defence, Chalobah's back now after suspension. Obviously, you've got Reece James who's looking like he's getting minutes. Cucurella, same thing. Malo Gusto is playing in midfield for the game on the weekend, so just one to keep an eye on as well. But yeah, just on Robert Sanchez, I think that there are other keepers that you could go for instead of him. Right, let's take a look at the defence now, and I've got all 4 of the Arsenal assets on here. Gabriel, Saliba, Timber and Calafiori. I think all of them are viable options. I think the fullbacks are obviously susceptible to the most minutes risk, right? But I think right now, it is looking like Arsenal are playing their strongest back four in the Premier League and then rotating the Champions League. Now, Gabriel and Saliba, I think, will just play 90 minutes every week. And I don't expect that to change at all. You might see Mosquera come in for the Champions League games, but in terms of the Premier League games, I think them two will just continue to start. So if like for me, I've got both of them. If you're looking at another Arsenal defender, they're both fine options. Timber, for me, has got such high upside. The positions he picks up on the pitch from right back is insane. And he's got a haul coming soon. I'm just waiting to get onto that. Now, I want to talk a little bit about my transfer plans with Arsenal, but I do think that Jurrien Timber is a viable option. Now, of course, there could be him and Calafiori are more susceptible to rotation, like we said. But I think for the time being, right now, at least anyway, I think they're fine. Obviously, when we get to around Christmas period, you probably want Gabriel and Saliba because they're probably just nailed for starts, whereas the fullbacks probably will be rotated. But we've still got a while before we get to there anyway, so you don't need to think about that right now. Right now, all the focus should be on is trying to target the upside. And from the way Timber's picking up positions in the box, he's going to score sooner or later. And, he's winning penalties. He's going to get assists. So, yeah, I really do like the Arsenal back four. 2 Chelsea defenders on here, Trevor Chalobah and Marc Cucurella. Now, this is basically essentially trying to just target the Chelsea fixtures, but one is at premium and one's not. I think if you've got a limited budget and you don't care about finances and money, Cucurella is definitely the right option. He goes forward a lot more. He's got a chance of getting attacking returns as we saw last week, whereas Chalobah on the other hand is just that slow, steady guy. a little bit cheaper, so a little bit more affordable. I think about a million price difference between them. So in some respects, that can be quite a lot. And obviously, sometimes you just want to get a part of a team's defense for a good run. And I think Chelsea for game week 9 onwards for, a good 6-7 weeks, they're fine just to bring in and hold. So yeah, Chelsea defenders are definitely players that I'd be looking to target on my wild card. From Man City, I've just got Gvardiol. I think he's going to just carry on playing centre back. We should be expecting Aït-Nouri back soon, but for me, I just don't think you can go Aït-Nouri right now until we see him back playing 90 minutes. Gvardiol, very good for bonus points when Man City keep a clean sheet. He obviously did get an assist as well in the last game. I wouldn't expect that too much from him, but obviously for bonus points and clean sheet wise, he's fine. And of course, we've got the Crystal Palace defenders, Chris Richards, Maxence Lacroix, Martin Guéhi. I think whichever way you go about it, they're all fine. Obviously, you've got one cheap, one medium, one expensive, but all offer different things. All are very good for DEFCON as well. So yeah, Crystal Palace defenders as well, same as the Arsenal. I would be happy to own one, if not two of them. Right, so now we come into the midfielders, and we'll start off with the Arsenal players. We've got Bukayo Saka and Eberechi Eze. Now, Saka for me, no-brainer. If you've got him or you're looking to a route to get to him, he's absolutely fine. It's looking like he's going to be on penalties. We don't know that for 100% certain. Maybe they'll just rotate between each other. But I think Bukayo Saka, in terms of creativity for Arsenal, will just be the most creative player. He will make the most chances for everyone, so he's fine. Eze is become a lot better option in the last few weeks, and especially after we see Martin Odegaard's injury. Now, obviously, we don't wish injury on no one, especially me as an Arsenal fan. I want to see him back playing, but it's looking like he's got an MCS, I think it's called. So I think Odegaard's going to be out for about 6 weeks, which means Eze will be playing in the centre role. Now, when Eze is playing in that number 10, for me, he's a fantastic option. At the price he's at, he should have really had a couple of goals already over the last 2 weeks. He's been really stinging the gloves of a lot of goalkeepers recently. So I do like Eze, and I do think, minutes-wise, he's nailed on a lot more with Odegaard injured. So yeah, Eze and Saka for Arsenal, definitely both are viable picks. I'd probably choose Saka just over Eze, but I think Eze is a fine pick if you're looking to save budget. Now we come into the 3 City midfielders, and to be honest with you, I probably would just stay away from all of them. If you are wildcarding, Doku and Foden's minutes for me are just they're not guaranteed at all. Now, they both could easily go out there and just bag a 10, 12, 14-point haul. There's no doubt about that. We've seen it from both of them this season. The problem with them is that Doku is in such good form, and on the weekend we see he just get benched randomly. And this is the problem with Manchester City's wingers, is that you never know who's going to start. Now, it's worth me saying Phil Foden's been playing a lot more inside central, but he hasn't really been linking up with the play that nicely. For me, it's just not an option at the moment, especially with Rodri out injured now. We're going to move on to Tijani Reinders. That may end up dropping him back a little bit. So he's somebody that I'm contemplating looking to move out in the long term. Right now, it's not a necessary transfer, but if you are a wild card, I probably would be looking to make a move up to like an Ismail Assar from Crystal Palace, if you can find that money. So yeah, the Man City midfielders for me are just an avoid. I wouldn't go anywhere near them. I think their minutes are just too much of a risk. And last up is Anthony Gordon from Newcastle. Now, he did get an early sub, and this seems to be, again, another theme from him, which is why I'm going to advise I wouldn't go near him. I do think Newcastle, will get chances, and he will come good for them. But I just think with the guarantee of minutes, he was off the pitch when Voltemada took the penalty, so we still don't know realistically who's on penalties for them. It could be Anthony Gordon. We've seen him take it in the past, but he hasn't really got that good of a penalty record, and he's not really that good of a penalty taker either. So yeah, just one to watch. But for me, again, same as the Manchester City midfielders, minutes is too much of a risk, and I would just personally avoid. And finally, onto the forwards. We'll start off with the 2 from Liverpool, Alexander Isak and Hugo Ekitike. Now, for me, I don't know if I can advocate for going for them yet. I think we need to see a lot more from Liverpool first. We need to see them improve, but also we need to figure out who's the starter in the Premier League, who's the starter in the Champions League, because as long as they're both there and they're both fit, I don't think you can really ever gamble one way or the other. So for me, I think Isak will come good, and I think he will be an option in a few weeks' time, but we need to see Liverpool get up to speed first, and also we need to see which one of them is going to start as the main man in the Premier League. Obviously, Victor Gyökeres, we touched on earlier. For me, if I'm wildcarding, I probably would go Bukayo Saka over him ever so slightly, but I would. I think, like I said, I want to come into my transfer plans in the next section, but I will be looking to move Victor Gyökeres on myself, so I can't advocate for him as a buy. I think 9 million is just a bit too steep for the output you're getting. Other strikers to look at, maybe a replacement for him, Jarrod Bowen. He's about to come into a very good run for West Ham, which is why I wildcarded him in game week 6, because I knew that this one was coming up. Like, for me, if West Ham are scoring, he's going to be a part of it. So yeah, I like players like that. João Pedro, again, same thing, coming into a fantastic run for Chelsea now. Maybe could do with Cole Palmer being back, just to create that little bit more, attacking threat from them, and also just bring João Pedro into the game a little bit more, but also keeping 11 man on the pitch would also be helpful for his chances as well. So yeah, I think João Pedro is a fine pick. His price point is greatly priced, coming into a very good run of fixtures. So yeah, I do like him as well. And last up, of course, is Voltemada from Newcastle. Minutes wise, I think he should be all right for the time being. You know, we've heard that, you know, Johan Wissa's looking like he's going to be a little bit more prolonged back somewhere into November time. So I don't really think Voldemort going to have any competition from him at the moment. He doesn't seem to play 90 minutes though. That's the only thing. It's usually between the 70 to 80th minute he gets subbed off. Obviously, last game he did play through, got the penalty in the 84th minute, and this is why it's so important to pick players who play 90 minutes, because you've seen with Salah this season, the late goals that come from him. Voldemort, obviously, by staying on the pitch, got himself a penalty in the 84th minute. So I do like him. I am a little bit worried about his minutes risk, though, because obviously Anthony Gordon can play up front. So yeah, I think I'd probably end up going for João Pedro or Jarrod Bowen over him just ever so slightly. But I do think he's a viable pick as well. Okay, and finally, my current transfer plans. Now, I have 2 free transfers in the bank. First transfer I'm looking to make is Victor Gyökeres out. Now, I am looking at Voltemada. I'm looking at João Pedro. These are the 2 that I'm looking at bringing in for him, which obviously, A, would save up money, which is, you know, it becomes important with some of my future moves that I'm looking to make later on down the line. But also, I think both of them are just in better form than Victor Gyökeres. And the thing is, Victor Gyökeres obviously has the fixtures now, but João Pedro's about to come into a fantastic run. Voltemada's got an okay run, but he seems to be like Newcastle's main man at the moment, where everything's going through him. So I think both of them are viable options. I think if I had to choose one, I probably would sway just towards João Pedro at the moment, but I am a little bit cautious about him because obviously, might as well just jump straight to my midfielders now. Cole Palmer is somebody that I'm looking to bring in. And obviously, I own Caicedo already. I am going to be looking to bring in, you know, a Chelsea defender, which means that João Pedro spot would be my third one. And I think if João Pedro and Cole Palmer were both fit, I'd rather have Cole Palmer. Now, obviously, the defense-wise, Romero has to leave my team. I don't know why I brought him in on wildcard. I was baited by the fixtures, and Spurs just, I'm not trusting their defense at all. I don't want nothing to do with the Spurs defense for the rest of the season. So Romero is 100% leaving my team. Cucurella is definitely an option, but it does block me later down the line from doing certain other transfers which I'm looking to make, like move to Johnny Reinders up to Ismaila Sarr. So I don't really like that one. I think the only other option from the Chelsea defence, which is definitely the defence that I want to target and get onto, is Trevor Chalobah. Obviously, he's back from suspension now. Chelsea haven't got any fit centre-back, so he will be 100% guaranteed nailed. Obviously, there's 2 weeks international break now, so a little bit of time for the players to rest up, recover, and we'll see. But I think Trevor Chalobah will just slide straight back in there. And to me, it's just a complete obvious replacement to get rid of Romero for him. And obviously, the last pick that I'm looking to make, which would be a -4, but obviously, like I said, I am going to be on bench boost this week, is moving Bruno to Bukayo Saka. Now, Bruno, I think he will hit DEFCONs in this game because he's playing Liverpool at Anfield. Is there an opportunity that he gets a penalty? Now, it's worth me saying that Liverpool in recent times have absolutely destroyed Manchester United in their recent meetings. So I'm not too confident on that one, especially at Anfield. I'm just trying to weigh up, is it worth a minus to do it? Or do I just keep Gyökeres and just go? It's a very difficult one this week. Like I said at the start of the video, I'm going to be just holding my transfers at the end of the international break. I want to see, you know, if anyone gets injured, because obviously right now, these are my current transfer plans, but obviously 2 weeks time, things can change, players can change. You know, players may come back injured, players may not be available. So it's worth, I think, me just having to just wait on it and just see. But -4 is definitely potential this week with Bruno moving to Bukayo Saka. If I find out that Cole Palmer's fit, though, that obviously does throw another spanner into the works about the João Pedro option, about bringing Bukayo Saka in, because obviously if Cole Palmer's going to start off the international break, I want him for this run 100%. I want a piece of that. So yeah, I'm going to have to wait and see. I think that one will probably be decided later on next week. But that is what my current transfer plans and my overall team is looking like for game week 8 so far. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please don't forget to drop a thumbs up and subscribe down below. I'm going to take a few days off now. Obviously, we are on international break, so there's not really too much content to be making this week. I might try and get an FPL challenge video up for you guys a little bit later on in the week. FPL bus team, I'll probably bring back maybe over the weekend, start of next week, and then obviously I might do a little wildcard video as well if that's something you guys want to see. Just for those who are on Game Week 8 wildcard, I'll show you what the optimal team that maybe I would be using. And then, of course, end of next week, we'll have our final team selection where I show you guys all my transfers. We talk about all the key questions surrounding that game week and a whole lot more as well. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you take a couple of days off FPL, just recharge the batteries, refresh, come away from the game a little bit. Try and have a clear head. Try not to think too much about it. And then, obviously, we'll pick it back up from next week. So, as always, thank you all so much for your support in my recent videos. Thank you so much for watching this one. And I will catch you guys very soon.